Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. This is the movie for What If Naruto Could Copy Abilities, and if you don't know what this is, it's basically a collection of all of the separate parts in this What If, just gathered into one video to make it a lot more convenient for you. So if you're, coming in and watching this entire series and yet you don't know not anything, it's just easier to watch the movie instead of going one by one, watching part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, or whatever. And if you like my channel, please do consider liking and subscribing. It does mean a lot to me, every single sub that I get. So yeah, the link for my Discord server will be in the comments if you want to join for any reason. But enough said, let's get started. So a lot of people are going to be saying, well, isn't this basically just the Sharingan? I mean, that's the point of the Sharingan. The Sharingan can copy abilities and stuff. But this isn't exactly the same, because the Sharingan can help someone learn, basic jutsu. If somebody else is doing a water style wave jutsu or whatever, the Sharingan person can also do that water wave jutsu thing, but the Sharingan doesn't let people copy KK Genkai, for example. So if Sasuke used the Sharingan on Obito's Kamui, for example, that wouldn't work. Or if Sasuke used his Sharingan to try and copy the Almighty Push, that doesn't work, because that there are other requirements to do those abilities. What Naruto's ability does is completely bypasses all of those limitations, because I am the writer of this story and I say screw that. Yeah, so yeah, he can copy literally any ability, no matter actually, well, there is one limitation. If he doesn't have the skill level to do that jutsu, if he's a baby and he's trying to copy the hardest jutsu to learn, if he's trying to copy the reanimation jutsu, he can't do it. He won't be able to do it probably because he'll learn how to do it, except I don't know, he probably won't have enough chakra in him to be have that be physically possible. So yeah, now that that's out of the way, let's get started. So everything else starts off the way it was in canon. And no, I am not going to make baby Naruto copy Kamui when he was born, because Obito used it and everything. But Naruto has to copy jutsu intentionally. Not intentionally, but it's not that he's trying to copy the jutsu intentionally, but he has to be able to actually comprehend what's going on, at least. If he's just a baby, not even seeing the battle with Obito and Minato, he's not going to be able to copy any of those, nor would he probably remember that he copied any of those abilities. So yeah, nothing happens there. Minato and Kushina die, Obito gets away, Naruto is being raised, everybody hates Naruto, and yeah. So on Naruto's first day of the academy, he goes to the academy and everyone once again doesn't like him. He just sits down and he just watches as all of Sasuke's fangirls just crowd around Sasuke, and he's he's jealous of Sasuke. He doesn't like being that one outcast. So, they start class and they do the whole first exam thing. The kunai throwing, the running, and Naruto just does the exact same thing as in the original, because he hasn't copied any abilities yet, nor is he stronger yet, until the sparring. So during the sparring, Sasuke and Naruto decide to spar, and because of plot convenience, something cool happens during this bar. I wonder what it could be. Basically, so this fight starts and Sasuke just runs up to Naruto without Naruto being able to react at all and punches Naruto to the ground. But Naruto's not having it. He's like barely at the edge of the circle, but he stands up and he sees Sasuke running at him again, so he just dodges out of the way. And because of Sasuke's momentum, he almost like slips out of the circle. And then he's like mad at Naruto because he's like, I've had enough of this kid. Because I don't know, I just want him to be. And he starts weaving hand signs, and Naruto's scared. He's like, oh my god, a jutsu? I don't know how to do that. Man, I wish I could do like exactly, I wish I could do something like that too in return, He's like, dang it, why can't I do jutsu as well? And so he's thinking about, how he wishes he could, also do jutsu, which fills the requirement for having intentionally wanted to copy his jutsu. And this is the moment of truth, guys. Sasuke launches his fireball, saying, Katon fireball jutsu, or whatever he says. And as the fireball jutsu flies towards Naruto, Naruto instinctively just starts weaving hand signs. And it's just like, it just feels right almost, Sometimes, I don't know if this ever happened to you, but like, you kind of just like know what to do, and it just happens, and it just works. And Naruto just weaved the hand signs for the fireball jutsu, and just launched a perfect fireball jutsu, bigger than Sasuke's, right back at Sasuke. And this caught everyone off guard. First of all, like, Sasuke's fireball was definitely going to finish off Naruto. And the fireball was really impressive, so everyone was impressed by that. But the fact that Naruto, in that brink of time, was able to respond with a fireball bigger than Sasuke's, like, everyone was just stunned. And Naruto's fireball was able to beat out Sasuke's, and Sasuke was knocked out of the ring, blasted away by the fire. And Iruka was just standing there, speechless, as Sakura just booed from the stands, being like, "How dare you hurt Sasuke-kun? Oh my god, you're so mean," or whatever she said. Like, Naruto doesn't even care. Naruto's too cool to care. He doesn't have a crush on Sakura in this version. He's just not gonna have a crush on Sakura. And so Sasuke doesn't get knocked out, but he is, he's pretty badly injured, and he doesn't have to go to the hospital, but he's mad. How on earth did Naruto manage to make a fireball jutsu bigger than his? He was like the most surprised out of everyone. Naruto using a fireball jutsu, that wasn't okay. So Naruto just went home that day, and he was like, how did I just do that? Because he had no idea how to do that jutsu. And he had tried doing jutsu before, looking at scrolls and trying, and he had never succeeded. So Naruto was like, how was I able to do that? And so he went outside to his backyard area, and he tried it again. And, he weaved the hand signs and yelled, "Fireball Jutsu!" And he launched another huge fireball, towards the, wherever. He launched a huge fireball. And it was so big that the jutsu caught one of the trees nearby on fire. And Naruto, he was like, oh no, what have I done? But at the same time, he was like, what did I just do? That was insane. So he was both like unhappy because of the fire, but he was also happy because like he just mastered like an OP jutsu. Like, it's not OP, but like for academy level, that's an OP jutsu. So yeah, just deal with it. And but like he didn't know how to deal with the fire. But this is where plot convenience comes in. So as the fire starts spreading, people start noticing, and the villagers call on Jonin and other people to try and help. And eventually this Jonin comes that we don't know who it is. It's just a Jonin. I have no idea. Just random Jonin comes and uses a water jutsu that just blows a bit of water, like a stream of water out of their mouth. It's almost like the fireball jutsu, except it's not as big. It's just more direct stream of water. And he uses the jutsu to just extinguish most of the flames until, he runs out of water. And right as the guy was about to weave hand signs to use the jutsu again, he realized water coming from another direction. And he was like, oh, finally, some other Jonin arrived helping me, extinguish the fire. But then when he looked, he saw a kid, Naruto. And, the Jonin could tell that Naruto was very small, probably barely academy level. And Naruto was able to use this water jutsu, and he didn't question it, but from Naruto's perspective, he was even more surprised that he had been able to copy this jutsu as well. And he used it literally perfectly. Just perfectly copied the jutsu and, used it to extinguish all of the remaining flames. And the Jonin guy was like, oh, good job. And left the area with a body flicker or whatever he uses to leave. And Naruto was like, how did I do that? And then he has that moment where the light bulb floating above them just turns on. You know what I mean? The light bulb turning on thing. When somebody gets an idea. So Naruto's like, do I have the ability to copy abilities and jutsu and everything? He just thinks he has the ability to copy jutsu for now. He doesn't know enough to know he can copy Kete Genkai and everything as well. But Naruto's like, I want to test this ability. I want to use it for something else. And so Naruto goes over to Hiruzen and he's like, hey, Hiruzen, can we spar? And Hiruzen's like, no, I'm busy. I'm not gonna waste time sparring with you. It just wouldn't be fun. And Naruto was like, okay, how about this? It's a battle where we can only use jutsu, and we have to always stay 5 meters away from each other. That's the rules. If one of us gets hit 10 times by the other person's jutsu, they lose. And Hiruzen's like, fine, as long as it's gonna be short. Because he's kind of wondering where this is going, why the specific rules. And Naruto doesn't, the only reason Naruto put the rules was he only cared about the jutsu only thing. It would increase his chances of learning more jutsu and, I don't know, trying to copy stuff. So Hiruzen and Naruto would go up to the roof, the place probably somewhere where similar to where Hiruzen fought Orochimaru. And so Naruto would say, come on, start. And Hiruzen would throw his mud thing. I'm pretty sure he used it in his fight against Orochimaru. He used this mud thing on the tiles, or I don't know, something like that. And he uses this mud jutsu to kind of attack Naruto from the ground. And Naruto dodges it almost, but the jutsu just hits him from the foot. And Hiruzen's like, that's one. And Naruto's like, we'll see. And he just literally used the exact same jutsu back on Hiruzen. And this catches Hiruzen off guard, because he didn't even realize Naruto knew how to use jutsu. Because last time he checked, Naruto was worst in his class. So Hiruzen's like, how the... and barely gets hit. And while Hiruzen's thinking about that, Naruto already has the water hose technique thing, I don't know the name of, and Hiruzen just watches as a stream of water hits him in the face. Doesn't do much damage, but it counts. And then Naruto does that great fireball jutsu, and Hiruzen's like, okay, no, I'm not gonna keep getting hit by a kid. I'm literally losing 2-1 right now. And so he stops thinking about how Naruto just mastered like 1 billion jutsu overnight, and he just creates a mud wall. And Naruto's like, yes, keep using your jutsu. And so Hiruzen just jumps out of the mud wall and hits Naruto with the Phoenix Flame Jutsu, I think it's called, Phoenix Flower Jutsu, whatever it's called, you know, the one that shoots multiple fireballs, and all of them hit Naruto, which means, let's say, Hiruzen launched 5 fireballs with the Phoenix Fire Jutsu, and so Naruto was up to 6 hits, and Naruto was about to lose, not to mention the fact that, you know, he was, like, almost completely out of commission after the Phoenix Fire Jutsu. And Hiruzen was like, I gotta say, that was impressive, but you stand no chance against the Hokage. And so he just swiftly finishes off with a water-style wave jutsu, I guess, that just knocks him off of the building. And of course, he doesn't just like let him fall to the ground. He catches him, and then, you know, Naruto's already knocked out by then, which is kind of why the match ended. And so he brings him to the hospital. When Naruto wakes up, he's like, where am I? What happened? And then he just remembers what happened with Hiruzen. And he's like, well, that's what I expected anyways. As a slight smirk appears on his face, knowing that he mastered, what, like 1, 2, 3, like 4 or 5 new jutsu just in that fight. And he's like, how much more will my power grow? This is incredible. And so, you know, after that, like probably a few days later, because he has 9 tails, so he's gonna heal really quick. And he wasn't injured that bad. So like a few days later, he returns to the academy. And in the academy, they're learning like shadow clones, you know, the useless ones, and the transformation jutsu. And Naruto, of course, being able to copy abilities, after seeing Iruka demonstrate, just nails it on the first time. And that's kind of how it goes for the entire, like, academy time, you know what I mean? Like, the entire time that Naruto's in the academy, he just, like, copies the jutsu, and that's it, you know? He doesn't have to work at all. He just gets it first try, using his special ability. And sometimes he asks Iruka to, you know, teach him some extra jutsu, you know, some harder stuff, and Iruka complies. You know, he shows Naruto a couple jutsu, and, you know, Naruto doesn't, like, master the jutsu at the exact time like on his first try, but it's like, it's just so that Iruka won't get suspicious, you know? He just, like, gets a half try in first, and then the next day, he just comes up to Iruka and he's like, see, I mastered all of the new jutsu you taught me. And Iruka's still really impressed, but, you know, this isn't even Naruto's full learning potential. So, on the final day of the exam, I guess he passes, because at this point, I mean, he might not be really good at the whole written exam thing, but he's gonna do well in the part where they have to do the shadow clone jutsu, and he also beats Sasuke, and Sasuke, he just goes all out from the beginning, outspeeding Naruto, because he's still better than Naruto in taijutsu, and he just blitzes behind Naruto and kicks him behind the back. But Naruto catches himself before he can go out the circle. And Sasuke sees that Naruto's about to weave some hand signs. So he's like, I'm not letting you beat me this time. And says, waves his hand signs, and he's like, great fireball jutsu. And he launches a huge fireball, because he's been practicing ever since Naruto beat him. Like, being beaten to, like, the worst kid in the class, with him using your own jutsu against you, it's just, like, the worst feeling. So, Sasuke's been practicing a lot, and his fireball jutsu is a lot better. And Naruto's seeing this, he's like, okay, maybe my fireball jutsu's a little bit worse than his. And he's like, I've got a better idea, though. Naruto weaves hand signs and says, mud wall jutsu. And right in time, the mud wall goes up, like, fast enough to barely block Sasuke's fireball jutsu. And Sasuke's like, nice, I hit him. But as the smoke clears, Sasuke just sees a wall. He's like, what? That damn brat. And he just goes over to the wall to check on Naruto, ready to punch him and get him out of the circle. But when he looks, Naruto isn't there. And Naruto's actually using the headhunter jutsu. He just learned it from Iruka, I guess, because, Iruka taught him some extra jutsu. So he was using the headhunter jutsu, and Iruka realized that, watching from the sidelines, and he was like, wow, Naruto's really good. Like, not only can he learn the jutsu, but he can, like, really use them in a battle. It's different. Like, you knowing how to do something is one thing, and then, knowing how to do it in a real-life scenario is even harder. So, Sasuke, being confused, suddenly sees a pair of arms, like, appear from right underneath him. And Naruto just, like, pops up from underground and just, like, slams Sasuke into the ground. And Sasuke gets back up, but barely. And Sasuke, unfortunately, wasn't fast enough, because Naruto, the instant Sasuke got back up, Naruto was like, nah, you ain't winning this. And he just, like, kicked him right out of the circle, which really infuriated Sasuke, but Naruto doesn't care. Naruto, like, just wants to beat Sasuke, prove his strength. Whatever, I don't know, he just doesn't care. And so Naruto passes. The whole, like, Mizuki thing doesn't happen. I'm not gonna cover it. I don't care. Naruto doesn't have to learn the multi-shadow clone jutsu. It doesn't matter. He's already strong enough. And so, yeah, he gets promoted to Genin, and he gets his headband. And then, this is the most important part of the what if, guys. Naruto selects his new outfit. Oh my god. So, Copy Ninja Naruto. Okay, so Naruto is probably gonna be wearing some, like, black sweatpants, or not sweatpants. Yeah, you know what? I don't know, some, like, dark colored pants. He's gonna be wearing a black sweatshirt. Nothing too crazy, just, like, some, black outfit. And what should he be wearing as sandals? He's gonna be wearing the Jiraiya, no, not the Jiraiya. The Jiraiyas don't look really well. The Kakashi sandals. Yeah, those. And so, Naruto looks really cool. And he has, like, his headband up top on his head. Just, yeah. So, next day, comes to school. Kakashi waits for Kakashi for, like, way too long. And this is a really important time because, after Kakashi comes in and tells them to meet them on the roof, if you remember, Kakashi's body flickers up to the roof. And Naruto was like, wait, was that a jutsu that I can copy? And, like, he immediately gets, like, this excited, like, smile on his face. And Sasuke and Sakura are, like, getting up to walk up the stairs. And they notice Naruto just, like, smiling. And he's like, okay, time to give this a shot, as he like rubs his hand together, and he's like, he concentrates, and then his body flickers, like disappears, and Sasuke and Sakura are like, did he just use the same jutsu as Kakashi? And they're all shocked because they have no idea what this jutsu is. They can only assume that it's like this teleportation super speed thingy. I mean, to them it looks like Naruto just teleported, and so they're just like really shocked, but they just go upstairs anyways. And upstairs they meet Kakashi, the copy ninja, which is kind of funny because like Kakashi is called the copy ninja, but at this point the real copy ninja here is Naruto. So Kakashi is like not a copy ninja at all compared to Naruto, whose ability at copying is like a trillion times better. Just like, it's too OP, which is why I made this what if. But Kakashi has no idea what's coming. So they do the whole introduction things with like Kakashi introducing himself. Naruto's introduction doesn't change. And yeah, I don't think Naruto's introduction would change. Sakura is still a douchebag, and Sasuke is still emo. Anyways, Kakashi tells them to meet him in the forest field place, and to make sure they don't eat anything. So yeah, I mean, they don't eat anything. It doesn't really matter. Naruto's gonna win anyway, so it doesn't matter if they don't eat anything. So the next day, they all meet up, and Kakashi is really late again. I'm not even gonna cover it because it's just so annoying. So Kakashi does the whole, this is the bell test, there are 2 bells, 2 people get it, the other person, gets kicked out of the team and becomes a genin. And so they're all like, oh, okay. Anyways, Kakashi's like, okay, start now. And like everyone just runs into the forest, except for Naruto, because Naruto's just gonna stand in the open like he does in the original. Because Naruto's still Naruto, even if he can copy abilities. And so Naruto just uses a jutsu. No, he doesn't. He just rushes at Kakashi, and Kakashi's like, bro, this kid, he's so bad. Because Naruto's taijutsu ability isn't that much better than the original. I mean, he's faster, and his taijutsu is also a lot better. But yeah, he's not that good. He's not that good, yeah. And so Kakashi's clone, just punches Naruto back, and Naruto's like, no, dang it, or whatever Naruto does, I don't know. He's like, okay, well, you asked for this, and he just runs at Kakashi, and Kakashi's like, oh, here he comes again. But then, while running towards Kakashi, Naruto starts weaving hand signs and says, Fireball Jutsu. Kakashi's eyes widen, and he has like this flashback to Obito doing a Fireball Jutsu, we don't have to talk about that, it's not important. He's like, Fireball Jutsu? Huh, interesting. How does he know that? He's on the same team with Sasuke, so maybe Sasuke taught him? But, Kakashi's too distracted to avoid the fireball, and Naruto's too close to Kakashi for Kakashi to dodge or anything. So, Kakashi just, gets destroyed. Except, it was a clone of Kakashi, so the clone just poofs into smoke. But Naruto's seeing that, he's like, wait a second, that's not the normal type of clone I know. That was like a real physical clone. And that's not how the clones I learned are supposed to be. And he's like, is this a new ability I can copy? And Kakashi, watching from above, he just watches as Naruto does the whole hand sign thing, the plus symbol. I think it looks like the plus symbol, ones where he does it with 2 hands, the shadow clone jutsu symbol. the one we all know and love. And he just makes like 30 shadow clones, and all of the shadow clones start rushing at Kakashi. And Kakashi, like, hiding in the tree. It's like, first of all, how did this kid find me? Second of all, how did he just, like, did he always know the clone jutsu? Like, did he just learn it right now? And he just assumed it was the first one, because, you know, there's no way Naruto just learned it on the spot. And, you know, the Narutos start rushing at Kakashi, and Kakashi doesn't have a lot of problems dealing with them. Yeah, he doesn't have a lot of problems dealing with them. But then the Naruto start using a bunch of jutsu, like the water stream thing, the water wave jutsu. They use the mud jutsu that Hiruzen used on Naruto, and the original Naruto uses the Phoenix Fire jutsu thingy, and Kakashi actually starts getting hit. So he's like, okay, you know what? I don't want this kid to get the bell all by himself. So I'm actually gonna take this seriously. And, you know, Kakashi keeps being pressured, and as he keeps destroying Naruto's clones, but Naruto creates new clones over and over and over again, and the clones just keep using jutsu on Kakashi. And the more Kakashi uses other jutsu to block Naruto's jutsu, the more he, like, digs his own grave, because Naruto can copy the jutsu that he's using to block Naruto's jutsus that Naruto copied from someone else, if that makes sense. So eventually Kakashi gets pressured too much, and he's like, okay, I'm gonna open my Sharingan and I'm just gonna destroy this kid. But little does he know, that was, like, literally the worst thing he could do. I mean, if you want to beat Naruto, just use taijutsu, okay? But Kakashi just gave Naruto his strongest upgrade yet. And the instant Kakashi reveals his Sharingan, Naruto's like, you know, Naruto just, like, stops in his, stops in place and has that like, almost gasp moment where he just, like, freezes, and he looks at Kakashi, and Kakashi just, like, disappears out of his sight because of his insane reflex speed, and he just completely destroys all of Naruto's clones and blitzes at Naruto with, like, crazy speed. Like, not even Sasuke can understand what's happening. And then right as Kakashi is about to punch Naruto, Naruto just, like, dodges out of the way, and Kakashi's just surprised, and just, like, Kakashi almost zooms past Naruto because of his insane momentum that he had, just, like, dashing at Naruto with all of his speed. And he's like, what? And he looks back at how Naruto was able to dodge, and Naruto's just, like, standing there, and he, like, opens his eyes and looks at Kakashi, but just, like, stares at Kakashi as Kakashi gasps, seeing Naruto's Sharingan. And to make this more since he already copied Kakashi's one 3-tomoe Sharingan, he has the 3-tomoe Sharingan on in both eyes. Yeah, so Kakashi just, like, stands there in place, and he's like, how? Is he in a Uchiha? That would explain his fireball jutsu and his 3-tomoe eyes. I don't know how he got 3-tomoe, but wow. And Naruto's, like, using this moment of confusion to just dash at Kakashi and get a punch on him. And Kakashi's like, okay, I'm gonna beat you now. And as Kakashi, as Kakashi starts dashing at Naruto, there's still a clear difference between their abilities. So Kakashi punches Naruto, and Naruto gets slammed into the tree, and he, like, breaks an arm bone, maybe, something like that. So he's injured, and he's probably not going to be able to fight anymore. Kakashi's like, wow, that was way harder than I expected. And Naruto's like, I won. And Kakashi's like, what? How did he win? He clearly lost. He's standing, like, he's lying down there. So how could he have won? Because Kakashi forgot the purpose of this entire test because of how intense the fight was getting. As Naruto smiles and holds up the two bells, and Naruto just throws the two bells at Sakura and Sasuke, who were hiding, and Kakashi's like, he got the bells? When? And it's actually Naruto had stolen the bells already when, Kakashi had tried to punch him, but Naruto dodged, and while Kakashi was trying to punch him, he just took the bells. So yeah, Kakashi was really surprised, and he was like, well, I guess you pass. And Team 7 was officially formed. But to be honest, guys, that's where I'm going to stop it for today's video. So last time when we left off, Team 7 had just passed the bell test. And a lot happened during the bell test, which is, well, if you watched part 1, you know what I mean. Anyways, so basically, as Naruto heads home, being like, man, that was fun, I just copied this, red eye with black Tomoe thingy ability, and it's so OP. But, Sasuke is kind of having a mental breakdown right now, because imagine being Sasuke, your entire family gets killed, and then suddenly, everyone just has a Sharingan. It's just, Sasuke has no idea what to do. Kakashi has a Sharingan, but even worse, Naruto has 2-3 Tomoe Sharingan, and Sasuke is just no, I'm not having this. So he just starts running after Naruto, chasing after him to stop and ask him before he manages to get home. And so Naruto was just walking home, and then he sensed Sasuke coming from behind him, and Sasuke just jumped in front of Naruto and was like, Naruto, I have some questions to ask you. And Naruto was like, okay, I guess. And Sasuke immediately started. He was like, where and how do you have the Sharingan? Where did you get it? How is this possible? And Naruto, not knowing the answer very well himself, said that, well, actually he thought for a little bit, because, Naruto really doesn't know how to reply. Naruto just says, I don't know, I just got it. Which really pissed Sasuke off, because that's not a good answer, and Sasuke is not buying it. And so he's like, tell me the truth, Naruto. And Naruto just pauses for a second, and he says, well, I don't know the truth very well myself. It's just while I was fighting Kakashi, it just happened. I awakened the Sharingan, I guess. And Sasuke realized this was going nowhere, and he was like, does this kid really not know how he just got the Sharingan? And he's just like, fine, I'll see you later, I guess. And he said that really awkwardly, and then he just went away, and Naruto's like, okay, bye, I guess. And so he just walked home, and Sasuke doesn't know what to do at this point. He's like, bro, Sharingan is just everywhere now. It's not even rare anymore. Just everyone has it. I don't know what to do. But yeah. So anyways, Team 7 just starts doing a bunch of random missions, and since Naruto's a lot stronger in this version, they're just easily doing all of these missions no problem. Just they did 1 month worth of missions in like less than a week. So eventually Team 7 was like, okay, come on, we need something harder. We're too good for this. I'm like, we have like 3 people with the Sharingan, if you include Sasuke. We have like the most OP team out there, and we're trying to like help ladies, like help grandmas cross the road and catch missing cats. I mean, that's just a waste of like amazing potential. And so Hiruzen's like, okay, fine, you can have this C rank escort mission. You have to escort Tazuna to the land of waves. And Team 7 was like, you know what, I'll take it. Like, it's not what I was hoping for, but it's better than nothing. So Tazuna walks out all drunk and everything, and he does his whole like, oh, the kids are supposed to protect me, I don't think so. He does his thing. But Team 7 doesn't really care that much, except Sakura. Sakura just shouts at Tazuna like, you'll see what we can do, stop underestimating us. Because Sakura is Sakura. But the next day, they meet outside. And, Tazuna's actually sober now, so, he apologizes for the whole thing. And Team 7 goes off on their way. So, of course, on their way, Team 7 encounters the Demon Brothers, or... yeah, that's what they're called, right? And, they're hiding in the puddle. Once again, Kakashi notices them, and, the Demon Brothers pop out, and they try attacking Naruto. But, Naruto's actually good. Like, Naruto's actually decent in this, like, at this point, in this what if. So, Sasuke does his whole thing. Naruto doesn't get hit. And then after Kakashi successfully captures the Demon Brothers, they just go on with their mission. Now, of course, the mist starts rolling in, and Tazuna said it's normal to have mist around here, because, it's like, this is an area, like, if you were gonna find mist anywhere, this would be it. But still, Kakashi was suspicious, like, this was too much mist, even for here. So, he was on the lookout, and then he noticed Zabuza's blade coming towards them, and he said, duck! And so all Team 7 ducked, including Tazuna, as the Executioner's blade, I think it's called, just swung past their head, and then landed, got stuck in a tree, as Zabuza Momochi, Demon of the Mist, or whatever he's called, does his, thing where he's like, I am Zabuza, whatever. So, after he does his whole thing, Naruto's like, oh yeah? Well then you'll have to prove it by fighting me. And Zabuza's like, this kid's interesting. And so he does the whole water clone thing and starts attacking them through the mist. And both Kakashi and Naruto turn on their Sharingan. And immediately, using the Sharingan, they're able to detect Zabuza and just destroy the water clones. Normally the water clones destroyed Naruto. Little clones destroyed Naruto. But now Naruto's actually good, so he's not gonna get destroyed by the clones. And all the clones get destroyed successfully, and Zabuza's like, what? How? That kid's actually good, and he has the Sharingan. This is weird. And he has that inner thought thing where he's surprised by Naruto's skill, and then he's like, oh well, I'll just have to pick them off one by one. And so he makes a bunch more clones to distract Naruto for a while, and then he fights with Kakashi by himself. At least he tries to. And he manages to do it successfully. It goes just the way it does in canon. And Kakashi ends up finding himself stuck in the water prison. Now, Naruto seeing this is like, okay, I'm done playing around with these water clones. And he just does a big fireball jutsu, around the entire area that just one-shots all of the clones in one move. And And, Naruto smirks and dashes at Zabuza. And for a moment, Zabuza can see Naruto blitzing at him. And then Naruto disappears. And Zabuza has a moment where he's like, where did Naruto go? And then he, looks behind him, and it's Naruto's standing there behind him, fist raised. And Naruto just tries punching Zabuza in the face, as Zabuza barely manages to block the punch. But at the same time, he doesn't realize Naruto's kick coming from the side. And by the time he realized it, it was almost too late, and he barely managed to get his other hand in, to be able to block the kick. He's like, it's not going to be that easy to beat me. But Naruto says, well, that wasn't my goal. And Zabuza realizes that after using his left hand to block Naruto's kick, he accidentally released the water prison. So now Kakashi was free. And so Zabuza tried to finish them off using his water dragon jutsu that he does in the original. But you already know what's gonna happen. Both Kakashi and Naruto have their Sharingan activated. And as Zabuza starts doing the water dragon jutsu, Naruto has literally both the Sharingan and his copy abilities thing. So he can ultra copy abilities. I don't know. He can do the abilities he copied better than the person using them, almost. I don't know, something like that. And so, while Zabuza tries to use the Water Dragon Jutsu at the same time, Kakashi and Naruto also start using hand signs, and they both use the Water Dragon Jutsu, and both of their Water Dragons are stronger than Zabuza's, and Zabuza just crashes into the tree. And Haku, seeing that Zabuza's literally about to die, this man's getting destroyed, 2 Water Dragon Jutsus. If 1 Water Dragon Jutsu knocked Zabuza out, 2 is gonna kill him. So Haku steps in and barely captures Zabuza and manages to save Zabuza, but barely. And Zabuza is still passed out now. He's out of commission. So he's gonna need some healing to get back to full power. And, Haku tries to get away, but Naruto and Kakashi seeing this, they're like, nah, you're coming back here. So they start running after Haku, and Haku, realizing that he probably won't be able to outrun Kakashi and Naruto, decides, well, he'll just have to fight them. So, he, after luring them in, Haku does the whole ice mirrors move, the one where he creates 1 billion ice mirrors and then flips between them. So he creates the ice mirror move and tries using the Senbon, but
once again, both Kakashi and Naruto have 3 Tomoe Sharingan, so they can easily dodge the Senbon, and they can also see Haku moving through the mirrors. If 1 Tomoe Sharingan Sasuke was able to do it, 3 Tomoe Sharingan Kakashi and Naruto are going to be able to do it. And while they're doing this, Sasuke is on the outside, and unlike Naruto in the original, he's not a complete idiot. And so, understanding that his position is the optimal position to destroy the mirrors, he uses the Fireball Jutsu from the outside. And seeing this, Naruto decides to also use it from the inside, and they destroy the mirrors. And Haku at this point is he does the thing where he gives up and he's like, kill me. I no longer serve any purpose for my master. And so, Naruto and Sasuke stand there for a second hesitating, but Kakashi is like, well kids, you're gonna have to learn this the hard way, as he powers up his Chidori and runs straight at Haku, piercing Haku through the chest. He does that thing he did to Rin. You guys know what I'm talking about. And after that, they just watch as Haku's body falls over onto the ground. So after that, they get on the boat and do the whole thing where they go over to Tasuna's house, and there's a whole feast prepared for them. It's the best food you can ever imagine. And, they were pretty tired after that whole fight, So they just completely stocked back up on energy, and so it was just amazing. And Kakashi didn't overuse his Sharingan, so he's fine. Like the battle, the battle was too short for Kakashi to overuse his Sharingan, and honestly, I'm not gonna go through the trouble of making him do all of that. So Kakashi's completely fine, and Team 7 goes out to do the whole tree walking thing. But this time, Naruto can copy abilities, and this isn't he can copy jutsu. He can copy anything. He can copy any ability. So, the instant Kakashi shows tree walking, all Naruto has to do is watch. And right afterwards, as Kakashi's like climbing slowly up the tree, Team 7 hears a shout from like behind them, and they look up and see Naruto just sitting on the top of the tree, hanging upside down from a branch, using the tree walking technique. And they're all just like completely shocked. They're like, "How did you get up there?" And Naruto says, "Well, it was easy. I just tree walked." And so Sakura and Sasuke are like, "Okay, if Naruto can do it, it should be pretty easy." And Sakura is pretty good, as you know, because Sakura's actually good at chakra control. Sasuke, although with Sasuke, it takes some more time. And Kakashi seeing this is like, "Okay, Naruto, you're ready to learn water walking." And then Kakashi pauses, noticing that, wait a second, Naruto already knows water walking. And if you're wondering how he already knows water walking, it's from the original fight with Zabuza. If you don't remember, in the original battle where Kakashi and Zabuza fought each other with Kakashi copied Zabuza's attack using his Sharingan, and they both did the water dragon jutsu, and they just Kakashi won, and that's how it was. So, but this time Naruto was also there, which meant Naruto copied Kakashi's and Zabuza's ability to water walk. So he was also able to water walk during that fight. And Kakashi realizing this is like, honestly, Naruto, you can just do some physical strength and exercise training, because you already know everything I can teach you. So yeah. And Naruto's like, "Okay, sure, but before I go, I want to ask you something. Remember that move you did earlier where you did that lightning thing all over your hand, and you stabbed it into that person's chest?" And Kakashi's like, "Yeah." And then he has that moment where time freezes, and we listen to Kakashi's thoughts, and he's like, "Wait, he didn't, did he? Is it possible?" And then Naruto asks, "What is it called?" And Kakashi says, "It's called Chidori." And Naruto says, "Chidori, huh? Do you do it like this?" And he raises his hand, as his hand immediately starts getting covered in lightning. And Kakashi's eyes widen as he sees that Naruto has literally just mastered the Chidori, only having seen it once, which, really impresses Kakashi. So, yeah. And for the rest of the day, I guess Naruto, does his training, and Sakura and Sasuke also do the whole tree walking, water walking exercise. And the whole final bridge battle doesn't happen because, Zabuza and Haku are already dead. But the bridge still does get called the Great Naruto Bridge because Tazna knows what Naruto did, beating Zabuza and everything. So they're congratulated, I guess, for that. And of course, Naruto and Team 7 do face Gado's men and just destroy all of them, killing Gado in the process. So that does play a part as well in the people naming the bridge the Great Naruto Bridge, the same way they do in the original. So after that, they just head home, which takes a lot faster than the original, because, like, Team 7's a lot stronger than they were in the original. I guess Kakashi would have to carry Sakura, because Sakura's slow, I can only assume. But, yeah. So they get back telling Hiruzen about how it's probably like a B or A rank mission, and Hiruzen pays them appropriately. So Naruto has quite a bit of money to spend now. So Naruto doesn't know quite what to do with all the money he has, because Naruto, I mean, he's not very, like, responsible with his money. Like, he's not the type of person you would trust with a large amount of money and, like, trust that he would be able to save it over a long amount of time. So Naruto just immediately starts going on a shopping spree, and he really quickly realizes that there's not a lot of things for him to buy. So he just keeps wandering around the village, checking things out, and then one shop catches his eye. It was a weapon shop owned by, let's say, Tenten, because Tenten's a weapon master, I think, with all the kunai. So Naruto walks in and sees a bunch of weapons on the wall, like one that looks like Zabuza's, big battle axe, a bunch of kunais, senbon, shuriken, everything you could think of. And so Naruto, looking around, something catches his eye. There was this like katana-looking blade that had like this really cool like black handle area, and it looked really high quality. It just looked sick. Like, imagine the coolest katana you can think of. It's that. That's what Naruto saw. And Naruto was like, okay, how much does this cost? And Tenten said the price, which was a little expensive for Naruto, but Naruto was like, I gotta get this. So Tenten was like, oh, you're buying it? Okay, well then I should tell you. This blade is a special blade, and it is made of like a very special metal that is extremely strong and durable. And the like hilt, the holding area, is made out of high quality leather and this other thing that I don't know the name of. And that makes it really comfortable and creates a really nice grip. And Naruto just like has that thing where he's listening with a blank expression because he doesn't understand a thing Tenten is saying, and he's just like, yeah, I totally want to buy that. So he buys it, and now he has like this really sick looking katana that he puts on his back. I don't know who else does it, so I don't know how to reference it, but like, he's carrying the sword on his back. That's like, you know what that looks like. So Naruto has an epic weapon now, and yeah, the next day when Kakashi tells him that he wants to meet up and talk about something. So Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura meet up at the bridge, where Kakashi tells them about the Chunin Exams. And, they're all like, yeah, why would we not want to participate in the Chunin Exams? And Kakashi said, like, yeah, that's what I thought. Hiruzen already agreed to letting you guys in, because even though you're like, this is your first year as a Genin, honestly, you're probably one of the best teams ever, so I'm gonna let you participate. So, yeah, you're lucky. And, Team 7 is like, oh my god, thank you, Kakashi-sensei. We definitely want to participate. And, yeah, now they're signed up for the Chunin Exams. Now, the thing with Konohamaru does happen, except because I forgot, I'm gonna just make the whole Konohamaru Kankuro situation happen after Kakashi tells them about the Chunin exams because I forgot to. And I'm gonna make it seem like I intentionally did that. So anyways, as Naruto's walking back, he sees Kankuro, like, this guy bullying Konohamaru, and he just goes up to him and just takes Konohamaru and puts him down. And, you know, Kankuro didn't just let him do that. Naruto was so strong that he just took Konohamaru out of his grip. You're bullying right there. I mean, if I were you, I wouldn't do that, but honestly, your choice. And Kankuro's just like, wait, the Hokage's grandson? Really? I didn't know. I'm sorry. That was just a joke. I wasn't actually doing anything to him. And Gaara, watching from above, was like, this guy seems powerful. And Naruto detects Gaara, and he looks up, and he's like, are you guys here for the Chunin exams? As they nod, saying yes. So Naruto says, well, I'll be looking forward to seeing you there. After that, Naruto just walks off, and he gets some good rest, and the next day, or whenever the Chunin exam starts, Team 7 meets up and starts heading for the Chunin exam building. And that is where I'm going to be ending part 2. So last time when we left off, Naruto and the rest of Team 7 were heading to the Chunin exams. So, you know, they walk in through the door, and of course, Sasuke notices the genjutsu, and he's like, okay, this is a genjutsu, let's go upstairs. And the instant they go upstairs, Rock Lee is like, Sasuke Uchiha, I want to challenge you to a fight. You know, doing his whole thing that he does in the original. And although I'm pretty sure Naruto did get Rookie of the Year in this What If, I don't know, Rock Lee just still... Actually, no, Sasuke does get Rookie of the Year, because even though Naruto won the spar, Sasuke scored higher on the test and had better kunai throwing, and, you know, scored better in all the other tests. So, you know, Sasuke is still Rookie of the Year, although Naruto is a lot stronger. So anyways, Rock Lee challenges Sasuke to a fight, and Sasuke, of course, accepts, just like in the original, although Naruto does try and convince him not to. Now, as the fight starts, it goes just like it does in the original. Rock Lee just destroys Sasuke almost without even using full strength, and then my guy comes in and stops Rock Lee, and that's all, really. You know, Sasuke and the rest of Team 7 go to the waiting hall area, and they wait for the first part of the Chunin exams. While they're waiting, Kabuto does do his whole card trick thing, although not with Team 7. He does it with another team, another one of the Konoha 12, I don't know. But Naruto and Sasuke, they don't need Kabuto's card spinning help. I mean, like, they don't need any help. So, Ibiki comes, and the first part of the Chunin exams start. So, Ibiki explains the rules with the cheating, and he also explains, you know, how, like, the test, you have to answer some of the questions, and there'll be a 10th question. So, you know, Naruto is just as dumb as he is in the... No, he's not just as dumb, but he's still kind of dumb. But that doesn't really matter, because even if he was smart, he would have a really hard time answering these questions. So both Naruto and Sasuke just activate their Sharingan and copy the hand movements of other people, because in this What If, Naruto was not sitting in the front seat, so he was able to copy the hand movements of other people. Actually, you know what? He was sitting in the front seat next to Hinata like he was in the original, and since Hinata had the Byakugan and could copy others, Naruto just copied Hinata, and so they were all doing well
until Ibiki decided to announce the 10th question. And he explained how everything before this had just been basically useless, and now it was all up to the 10th question. Now, Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura, being confident in their abilities, they all decided to stay. Naruto did not do his speech thing because he wasn't about to raise his hand, so a lot more people did end up leaving, and Ibiki was like, haha, get fooled, this was actually a test, and you all passed, there is no 10th question. It was all mind games and stuff that helped me prove that you were worthy of being a ninja. Just then, Anko just smashes through the window, as we can hear the window breaking and all the glass shards flying around the room. And she lands, and she's like, okay, what does she call them? I don't know. She's just like, okay, Genin, you need to go to the Forest of Death right now, and I'm going to explain the rules for part 2 of the Chunin Exams, doing her whole Anko thing, while Ibiki just stands there shaking his head in disappointment and says, Anko, there is a door for a reason. And Anko's just like, nah, it's just not cool that way. You ruin all the fun. I mean, I'm just gonna come through the window every time, and there's nothing you can do about it. And Ibika's just like, you know what, fine, I really couldn't care less. You can take the kids, I'm out of here. And so Anko brings the kids to the Forest of Death, and they all sign up and sign the legal contract where they're like, okay, you know what, sure, I'm totally fine with dying, and it's not your fault if I die. They signed that thing, and they get their scrolls, and they're off. Now, Naruto and the rest of Team 7 are going through the forest, and since they stick together this time, the imposter who tries to be like Naruto and sneak up on Team 7 doesn't succeed because he can't impersonate Naruto because Naruto's not alone, and so he just goes in all by himself without any transformation jutsu or anything, completely underestimating Team 7's power. And before he even makes his move, Sasuke and Naruto immediately sense the ninja, and they just dash right at him, and they completely catch the guy off guard, as he just gets punched, uppercut, and he goes flying, and he's like, okay, you might have caught me off guard, but I'm not gonna lose to a bunch of little kids. And Sasuke's just like, don't underestimate us, we're not just little kids, as Naruto and Sasuke do a combo move where they both bounce off trees, and they come in from both sides in this dramatic looking scene with epic effects, and they just punch the guy from both sides, as he's almost knocked unconscious, but he manages to get out just in time. And after that fight, Team 7 has a lot of confidence. They're like, honestly, I have a feeling this is gonna be a bit too easy. We're way too OP. But little do they know, one of the 3 legendary Sannin is also in this forest with them, so they are gonna get a tough fight in the end. Anyways, they keep moving on, and eventually Orochimaru shows up, and once again, Naruto and his team aren't split up, so, they're together, and Naruto does not get eaten by the snake, except the weird woman-looking character that Orochimaru disguises him as shows up in front of Team 7. Now, not knowing who this creepy person is, Team 7 just gets into a battle stance, with Sasuke asking, who Orochimaru is, and Orochimaru just licks his lips and goes, Sasuke. You know what he does. He just does this creepy thing where he just says Sasuke's name in this really weird way, and licks his lips and he's like, Sasuke. And, Team 7 is really creeped out by this guy. And they're just like, okay, you know what? How about this idea? Let's just kill him. And so they make the first move, immediately dashing at Orochimaru. And remember, Naruto and Sasuke don't have their Sharingan on yet. So Orochimaru literally just destroys Sakura, Sasuke, and Naruto in one swift blow as they all get knocked back. And Sakura slams into a tree, almost getting knocked out. So, Sasuke hides Sakura somewhere to keep her safe. And this is actually really convenient because this way they won't have to worry about protecting Sakura while they go all out fighting Orochimaru. So, yay, I guess. And Orochimaru just dashes in, and both Naruto and Sasuke were prepared, and they both turned on their Sharingan, which Sasuke did unlock because I feel like, he has awakened the Sharingan at this point, so I'm just gonna say he activates it. And they both have the Sharingan active, and right as Orochimaru dashes at them and they activate their Sharingan, Orochimaru hesitates, seeing Naruto's 3 Tomoe Sharingan. And seeing that moment of hesitation, they do that combo move thing where they both go at him at the same time, and Naruto uppercuts Orochimaru while Sasuke punches Orochimaru in the gut, and Orochimaru just gets sent into a tree. And Sasuke sends his wire things at him, tying Orochimaru to the wall, and Naruto does a humongous fireball jutsu to completely melt off Orochimaru's face, revealing his true identity. And Orochimaru is just as Naruto and Sasuke stare at him in shock, Orochimaru steps out of the fire in his true form as he's things just got a lot more interesting. This is when Orochimaru starts summoning snakes, and the big snakes, and they start attacking Naruto and Sasuke. But at this point, Naruto and Sasuke are way too strong to be beaten by a bunch of snakes. If Naruto could easily destroy them with QB Rage Chakra mode, or the one where he gets a bit of QB influence in his chakra, and Naruto was also able to beat it just with a couple shadow clones with no QB chakra, then, Naruto and Sasuke with Sharingan should be able to destroy the snakes. And Orochimaru just observes from the corner as he's interesting. The blonde-haired boy also seems to possess the Sharingan. In fact, his Sharingan is even stronger than Sasuke's. I wonder what I should do. So, immediately afterwards, when Naruto and Sasuke had dealt with the snakes, Orochimaru dashes at Naruto and uses this attack where, he sends snakes out of his arm. And, he turns his arm into 5 snakes, 1 snake for each finger, and the snakes just dash out at Naruto and Sasuke. But Orochimaru is extremely shocked at what happens next. As the snakes fly towards Naruto and Sasuke, a bunch of 5 more identical snakes counter those snakes from Naruto's side. And as Orochimaru looks around to see what's happening, he realized that Naruto just used the exact same jutsu that Orochimaru had just used. He literally copied the snake finger hand jutsu and used it against Orochimaru's snake hand jutsu. And as Orochimaru was trying to comprehend what had just happened, a humongous snake came right behind Orochimaru and just ate Orochimaru whole. Of course, this didn't do anything to him because Orochimaru's basic snakes don't really do much. So Orochimaru was able to get out, but he was like, so wait a second. Can this kid copy my abilities? Is this a ability of the Sharingan? No. The Sharingan is powerful and can copy abilities, but not to this extent. He must have some sort of other ability. Maybe I should give him the curse mark. And Orochimaru starts going all out. And, he starts using a bunch of other jutsu to test out his theory. And Naruto keeps copying all of them, as well as mixing in more jutsu. And Sasuke goes up close for taijutsu battles. He does more taijutsu because he's more skilled in that zone. So Naruto's kind of like the long-range guy, and Sasuke does all of the taijutsu and skill fighting thing that he does in the original against Orochimaru, And since he had his Sharingan active probably while fighting Lee as well, he copies Lee's moves like Leaf Hurricane and all of those things to really, start fighting Orochimaru really well. But once again, Orochimaru is one of the three Sannin, so Orochimaru eventually gets the upper hand on Sasuke and also starts beating Naruto. But and then Orochimaru pins down both Naruto and Sasuke, and he's like, and now you've lost. As Orochimaru's neck grows long and, he turns into this, his face almost morphs into this unrecognizable monster as his long scaly neck extends out and bites into Naruto's neck. But something unexpected happens. As Orochimaru bites into Naruto's neck, Naruto poofs into a cloud of smoke as Orochimaru jumps back in shock as he realizes that, he didn't just use a clone jutsu, but he also used genjutsu on Orochimaru to make Orochimaru think that was the actual Naruto. But Naruto's plan did not stop there. See, as Orochimaru was in shock and started looking around frantically trying to find Naruto, he noticed something coming from behind him. And when he looked back, he saw Naruto's head. But his skin was white and pale, his neck long and scaly, as his head extended toward Orochimaru. And Orochimaru tried to dodge out of the way, but it was too late. Naruto had put the curse mark onto Orochimaru. And this is the most OP Uno reverse card ever. Honestly, I feel like making Naruto do this to literally everyone. It's when Madara does the meteor thing, Naruto just meteors him back. Just with every move, Naruto just does it back. Uno reverse. It's just crazy. And so Naruto's curse mark looks a bit different from Orochimaru's. Naruto's curse mark looks a bit more almost how do I say it? It's like a flower, but not really like a flower. Imagine a flower, but there were 9 petals, and all of the petals look like tails, because it's the 9 tails. You know what? You don't have to understand. Just, Naruto put the curse mark on Orochimaru, and so, Orochimaru collapsed just like it was the way it happened to Sasuke. And as Orochimaru collapsed, Naruto was like, I wonder what that was. And, he was like, I'm glad he wasn't able to do it to us, because that would have been bad. And so after freeing Sasuke, they took Orochimaru's scroll, which just happened to be what they were looking for, and they made it to the building in record time, and Gaara had just literally, Gaara's team had barely, come right after them. And, Gaara was kind of expecting it. Naruto seemed pretty strong, so his team placing, before them as well, it was I kind of expected it. Anyways, after that, after, waiting in the area for a long time, not a long time, but, a couple days, I guess, the person, the guy who kept coughing all the time, he announces that there are going to be preliminaries, because why not? So, during the preliminaries, Sasuke beats that chakra absorbing guy, because Sasuke doesn't even have the curse mark now. Naruto, okay, I'll get to that later. All of the other fights go the same as in canon, and we have Naruto versus Kiba. Kiba uses Fang, so the beginning starts the same as it was in the original, but then the instant Kiba tries to use Fang over Fang, Naruto uses a he uses Sarukon Jutsu to, get out of the way and again Jutsu again, so that, Kiba thinks that was the real Naruto all along, but, Naruto actually escaped. And after Kiba went through Naruto's clone, he turned around, trying to use Fang over Fang again, but, right when he was about to, Naruto used Fang over Fang against him, and then they were both knocked back, but Naruto just literally finished off Kiba with a Fireball Jutsu. I mean, Kiba seriously doesn't even stand a chance, bro. Naruto's way too OP. If Naruto can beat Orochimaru, Kiba's dead. Straight up. And that's basically all. Gaara versus Rock Lee also goes the same, so there's nothing different there. But you guys gotta remember, Naruto was watching all of the fights, right? Naruto watched the chakra absorbing guy. He watched Rock Lee open however many gates he opened. What was that, 4 or 5 gates? He watched Gaara's sand moves. He watched Neji and Hinata's fight, and he watched all of them, which means Naruto is extremely OP right now. Just by watching the preliminaries, he is super OP. But yeah. So, after that, they have the 1 month training period. Of course, Naruto, knowing that he doesn't need that much training, I mean, if he just looks at a move, he already knows it, and he already knows every one of the opponent's moves, literally can do exactly what his opponent can do, so he doesn't even have to practice. And anyways, what happens is he decides to, go chill out in the hot springs, but on the way, he sees Jiraiya, and he does the whole thing where he's like, "What are you doing, you pervert? You're not supposed to be peeking into the hot springs." And Jiraiya does the whole thing where he's like, "Do you know who I am? I am Jiraiya, the Toad Sage." And since Naruto has, Naruto isn't incredibly stupid in this what if. He actually did some of his homework for once. He knows about the 3 Sannin, and he knows who Jiraiya is. So Naruto is like, "Oh, really? The 3 Sannin? Honestly, I don't believe you. You gotta spar with me if you wanna prove it." And he's like, this kid. I'll just finish him off with one quick jutsu." And so he tries to use the toad oil jutsu, and he just does a little bit of it, and as he uses the toad oil jutsu to try and cover Naruto in oil, Naruto also does it back to Jiraiya, canceling out the toad oil jutsu. So Jiraiya's like, this kid, like, I am supposed to be the only person who knows that jutsu. Naruto just smirks and says, show me what else you've got. And Jiraiya says, okay, let's take this fight to the forest. And so they go over to the forest to start sparring. And the instant they go into the forest, the instant they're in the forest, Jiraiya summons a toad. Not Gamabunta, but one of the medium-sized toads. And the instant Naruto sees Jiraiya do that, he's like, okay. And he tries to do the summoning jutsu, but it doesn't work. He's like, how? And Jiraiya's like, ha, you little fool. You think you can use this jutsu? Well, here's the thing. You have to sign a blood contract to be able to summon toads, or anything for that matter. So, good luck with that. And, Jiraiya knows that he probably is going to end up teaching him how to do that eventually. But, Naruto's just like, okay, well, that toad isn't going to be what defeats me. I can still defeat him in this state. And so Jiraiya uses a couple other jutsu that isn't the summoning jutsu, and Naruto manages to copy them perfectly every single time. And Jiraiya uses his spiky hair jutsu as Naruto creates his own spiky hair and attacks Jiraiya back. And next time, Jiraiya tries to use his spiky hair jutsu again, but Naruto creates a mud wall as, Jiraiya's hair manages to start piercing through the wall, and eventually he breaks through, but then realizes Naruto isn't there anymore. And he looks behind him to see Naruto has body flickered back, right there behind him. And Jiraiya barely manages to block Naruto's punch and punches Naruto in the gut. But just then, the Naruto he punched poofs into smoke, as the real Naruto comes out from behind Jiraiya, sending out a huge fireball jutsu and completely engulfing Jiraiya in flames. And Jiraiya's like, I'm gonna have to take this seriously, this fight. There's still one thing about him I want to test. And so he, does all the, he goes into hiding, and Naruto's like, where'd he go? And meanwhile, he doesn't know, but Jiraiya's making some preparations, and Naruto can't find Jiraiya for about almost 10 minutes while even more. He just tries to he fights Jiraiya's clones, trying to find the real Jiraiya for a really long time. But then eventually the real Jiraiya steps out, and the instant Naruto lays his eyes on Jiraiya, he is intimidated by Jiraiya's power. He has transformed into something completely different. And he's like, well, I guess first of all, I'll have to activate my Sharingan. As he activates his 3 Tomoe Sharingan, and Jiraiya's just stunned. The Sharingan? But how? Naruto isn't an Uchiha, he is an Uzumaki and Namikaze. That's not how you get the 3 Tomoe Sharingan. You know what I mean? And so Jiraiya's like, okay, now's not the time to think about that. I'll just use my Sage Mode to completely beat him. And Jiraiya starts rushing in, and, Naruto doesn't, Naruto's not strong enough to beat imperfect Sage Mode Jiraiya. So, Jiraiya's, almost completely destroying Naruto. And, right when Naruto gets, hit down to the ground, Jiraiya creates a Rasengan, and the Rasengan keeps on growing and growing, and he makes like a medium giant Rasengan. Like the giant Rasengan isn't as big as like some of the Rasengans that Naruto makes, and it's not as big as the one he used against his fight against the Six Paths of Pain. It's just like a moderately big Rasengan. It's like not a normal Rasengan, but it's a big Rasengan, and he tries attacking Naruto with it to finish off the job, but the instant he does that, he sees Naruto's Rasengan, as Naruto's Rasengan grows to a size even bigger than his, and completely deflects Jiraiya's Rasengan, blasting him back. And Jiraiya is shocked. The Rasengan? But how? And he looks up as the smoke clears, and he sees Naruto standing there. And as like the dust starts to clear away, he gasps as he sees Naruto, and he looks at Naruto, who now, has the marks around his eye, and realizes Naruto has entered imperfect sage mode. And Naruto did not enter perfect sage mode because unless he sees someone do perfect sage mode, he can't do it himself. So, just to make it a bit more fair. And Jiraiya is shocked. And now, with Naruto knowing all of Jiraiya's abilities except for the Toad summoning, and having Sage Mode, and the Sharingan, Jiraiya just, gets defeated eventually. And, later on, when Jiraiya wakes up, he's like, how'd you do that? And Naruto's just like, well, I mean, you might not believe me, but I have an ability that lets me copy all abilities. And Jiraiya's like, so that explains it. That's how he was able to master all of the jutsu that I used against him. And so he's like, okay, Naruto, I want you to sign this contract thing so you can summon toads. And Naruto's like, okay, and he does the whole signing thing, and on his first try, he summons Gamabunta, and Jiraiya is incredibly impressed. But now, he still has, this only took him a day or two, so he still has almost an entire month to keep training. And Jiraiya, already having taught Naruto everything, without even meaning to, is like, okay, so what can I teach Naruto next? And then it hits him. It's like, okay, that's a pretty good idea. And so they go over to, and so basically for the rest of the month, Naruto, for his training, he does Sage Mode training, and by the end of his, 1 month, he has mastered Sage Mode. So he's so incredibly OP at this point. It's just not even okay. At this point, Naruto is well and prepared for the last stage of the Chunin Exams. I mean, it's not even close. He is at the level where he can beat Pain already. Because, if Naruto with Sage Mode could beat Pain, Naruto with the Sharingan, Sage Mode, and, all the other jutsus he's already mastered could easily beat Pain. So, he is, insanely strong right now. So, yeah. But, to be honest, this is where I'm going to end off the episode. So we start off with the final stage of the Chunin Exams. Now, Naruto, if you don't know, is completely OP at this point. And yes, he did watch Hinata and Neji fighting, so he has in fact copied Neji's and Hinata's entire Hyuga fighting style. So when Naruto walks onto that stage and Neji does his whole destiny speech, Naruto is not fazed at all. And the instant And, Neji with his Byakugan notices that Naruto is very confident. And even after the speech, his confidence is just unchanged. And then Naruto's like, okay, it's my turn to try and intimidate you. As he says, Byakugan, as his eyes suddenly turn white. And everyone in the crowd gasps, seeing Naruto's white Byakugan eyes. And this is the most shocking to Team 7. Sakura, Sasuke, and Kakashi watching the fight are like, this both answers a bunch of questions and raises a bunch of new ones. Because, as you know, Sasuke was wondering how he got the Sharingan. And, how Naruto got the Sharingan. But now, seeing that Naruto also developed a Byakugan right after seeing another Byakugan user, Sasuke is pretty confident in the fact that he has, now knows what Naruto's ability is. Although this does raise a bunch of new questions for Sasuke as well. Anyways, Neji just jumps back, seeing Naruto's, sudden, seeing that Naruto just activated the Byakugan. And Neji's like, no matter, as long as you don't know how to use it, and even if you did know how to use it, you wouldn't be able to beat me. But Naruto's like, we'll see about that. And he takes, a perfect stance, as Neji kind of, gets surprised, but he's like, no matter, I'm still better. And as he rushes in, he's immediately stunned to realize that Naruto is incredible at the Hyuga fighting style. He can do literally everything that Neji can do, and even more actually, because Naruto had not only seen Neji, but he had also seen Hinata. And over the 1-month training break, he had also spied on the Hyugas a little bit to just get better at their fighting style. So Naruto was almost better than Neji at the Hyuga, at his own fighting style, which is the ultimate Uno reverse card. But, it's just, Neji is shocked at Naruto's pure skill. He has the sort of mastery that would be developed over years and years of hard work. But Naruto just seemed to have it, just naturally, out of nowhere, as if it was given to him. And, Neji was not so eager to give up. He kept fighting, and eventually he got the upper hand. And he said 8 trigrams, 64 palms, and started absolutely destroying Naruto with a billion palm thingies or whatever he does. And as Naruto fell to the ground, Neji watched and smiled. But then Naruto poofed into smoke. As the real Naruto stood behind Neji, Naruto had his Byakugan deactivated, and he said, "Listen, Neji, do you want me to go easy on you? Will you surrender now? Or do you want to, do you want me to go hard on you and you have a chance of dying?" As Neji's like, "Ha, as if you could even beat me." And Neji rushed towards Naruto, at incredible speeds. But Naruto completely dodged out of the way. And, this time he had the Sharingan activated. But he made sure not to let anyone see that. And then, Naruto kicked Neji into the air, from behind, and used Leaf Hurricane on him, and slammed Neji into the ground. But Neji was pretty strong, and although he was incredibly surprised at how Naruto had learned Leaf Hurricane, before he could even get up, Naruto was blasting a huge fireball in Neji's direction. And Neji used his rotation to try blocking the fireball, but he was barely able to. block it, as then he saw lightning. And the lightning in Naruto's hand, the Chidori, as Naruto dashed at Neji, and Neji was barely able to dodge, as Naruto put like a deep cut into the side of Neji's chest, and Neji realized Naruto wasn't even trying. That Chidori, he wasn't even trying to hit Neji, and Neji could have easily died there. And then it happened. Naruto used the headhunter jutsu to pop out of the ground, kind of like he did in the original fight of Naruto versus Neji, where he popped out of the ground and uppercutted Neji. He does exactly that and completely knocks Neji out. Except this time Neji is in a lot more like critical condition. So yeah, Naruto wins his fight easily. Everything else goes the same, including the Gaara versus Sasuke fight, with Sasuke stabbing Gaara through the shoulder with his newly learned Chidori, and as Gaara, tries to escape, Naruto pursues them, along with, of course, Sasuke. Now, Naruto does set up like at least 10 clones to go and look around the area, just like keep an eye on everything that is going on while he tries to take care of Gaara. So when he finally catches up to Gaara and takes care of Kankuro and Tamari and all of that stuff, he is like, Gaara is already in his like mostly transformed state, and Naruto, after almost easily destroying that state, his like taijutsu power is a lot stronger than half transformed Gaara. Like he's a lot stronger. If a bunch of clones, normal Naruto could be that Gaara, then so can this Naruto. So anyways, Gaara transforms fully into his Shikaku state, where he, falls asleep and Shikaku completely takes over. And Naruto's just like, I feel like it's a good time to use my newly learned jutsu. So he summons Gamabunta, and Gamabunta, seeing Shikaku, is like, an interesting opponent. In this fight, Gamabunta doesn't have to use the combined transformation and transform into Kurama. All Gamabunta has to do is distract Shikaku a bit, while Naruto just leaps onto Shikaku pretty easily because he's just so strong, and he just punches Gaara in the face, and Gaara wakes up, and Naruto has been working on a new technique, and this technique is probably one of the most OP techniques in the original Naruto, and Naruto decides there is no better time to do this than now. And as Naruto opens his eyes, as Gaara opens his eyes, lying on the ground, he looks up, and after weaving hand signs, Naruto says, "Secret technique, talk no jutsu." Yeah, and he does his whole talk no jutsu to Gaara, convincing Gaara to join the good side, and all of the stuff he does in the original. Now, meanwhile, with all the other clones, they see the Sound 4, put up the 4 thingy seal barrier, the one that they put around Orochimaru and Hiruzen so that nobody can interfere. Anyways, Naruto's clone realizes, okay, so I have to get to Hiruzen somehow. So he just watches from a distance as Hiruzen and Orochimaru fight. And as he continues watching Orochimaru, he makes sure to conceal his presence as Orochimaru summons the Hokage, the previous Hokage. Well, the first 2, because Hiruzen stops the 4th Hokage from, being revived. And Naruto seeing this is like, no way. Naruto couldn't believe his eyes. A revival technique. A technique, a jutsu that can revive people from the dead. He had to, use this jutsu. But when he tried to use it, he realized something. He was missing a component. That, he couldn't just straight up use the Edo Tensei. And then he realized, because he had copied the jutsu, it was just it just suddenly came to Naruto that he would have to use sacrifices to create the revived people. And he's like, okay, well, I probably can't use this jutsu now, so oh well, I guess. But he just watches the fight, not really being able to do anything, and learning both Tobirama's and Hashirama's secret techniques. And honestly, Naruto, even with his current strength, can't do anything. He can't break through that seal. I mean, a head Anbu tried to break in through the barrier and just got completely disintegrated. So, Naruto is probably as strong as, or probably stronger than that person, but he can't break through the barrier. And sorry, my voice is cutting out. I just have to cut the video a lot because there's a lot of background noise going on, so I have to keep cutting the video. Anyways, so Naruto watches learning the techniques of both the first and second Hokage. And, as he's watching, he observes as Tobirama teleports. And, Tobirama teleporting, it's just Naruto's I have to learn what that jutsu was. And he realizes it's the flying Raijin. Of course, Naruto does not have the kunai with the seal on it, but he can make it because he knows what it's like. Since he copied the ability, he knows how to make that kunai that can help him use the flying Raijin. So, yeah. But eventually, Hiruzen does end up dying. Naruto learns the Reaper death seal as well, so that's cool, I guess. And yeah, Naruto overall was really sad at the death of the Hokage, but he kind of just learns to deal with it, if you know what I mean. They have the whole funeral, and then, they're off to find the Tsunade so that he can be the fifth Hokage. Now, after this, I'm gonna have a bit of a time skip where Naruto explores the world, learning tons and tons and tons of jutsu. And Jiraiya also brings Naruto with him to, kind of spy on the Akatsuki, because he knows that Naruto is capable. And he also knows that this will be very beneficial for Naruto because it will let him copy the abilities of the Akatsuki. So Naruto goes on a couple of missions with Jiraiya, and the whole time skip happens. And after that, it's just Naruto is way too OP. He has abilities of most of the Akatsuki. He's just basically invincible. And the Akatsuki end up gathering all of the Jinchuriki, and this includes Gaara. And Naruto goes on the whole mission, where they try to find Gaara and try to save Gaara and everything. Naruto does end up killing Sasori and Deidara right there, because Naruto was incredibly OP, and after copying Deidara and Sasori's abilities, he had no use for them, and ended up killing them. Of course, after that, Gaara was saved, and they went back to the village. But this is when we have the Pain arc. And as the Paths of Pain come to attack the village, Naruto sees the Paths of Pain, and he watches all of them as they start wreaking havoc on the village. All 6 paths of pain. He watches as they use their abilities, and he sees the Rinnegan in their eyes, and Naruto's like, a golden opportunity. This is my chance. This will make me invincible. As he goes down and just kind of like calls out to all the paths of pain and tells them to attack him. And the paths of pain are interested. They're like, okay, let's just get the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki. Let's just get him. It's pretty easy. He's standing right there. And as they're about to dash at Naruto awakens his Rinnegan and uses the almighty push, completely pushing away all paths of pain. And Nagato from his lair is completely shocked. How? Naruto? He couldn't. How does he have the Rinnegan? It's not supposed to be possible. But it's too late. Naruto has copied all of the abilities of the paths of pain, and he starts absolutely destroying all of them one by one using their own abilities. He heals a lot of the people by summoning the King of Hell, or whatever that ability was. You know how one of the paths of pain can heal basically any moral injury. So yeah, eventually all of the paths of pain get destroyed, and Naruto ends up finding Nagato. And Naruto's like, Naruto ends up using his most OP technique. He weaves hand signs and says, prepare to witness the greatest technique ever. And he says, secret technique, talk no jutsu. And he uses his talk no jutsu on Nagato and convinces Nagato to revive everyone in the village. And so everyone in the village who had died gets revived, and Nagato ends up dying. And after that, Konan just heads off with her paper abilities as Naruto watches Konan go away, just trying to see if he can get his hands on any of the paper release abilities, but that probably won't happen. Anyways, everything after that kind of goes the way it does in canon. Obito does end up succeeding in Kabuto revives Madara, and Obito brings the Ten Tails back to life by merging all of the tailed beasts chakra, and Madara ends up absorbing the Ten Tails within himself. I'm not gonna have the whole Obito thing happen because I don't feel like going over it. So Madara just straight up takes the entire Ten Tails into himself. Now this is when things get crazy, because Madara has the Ten Tails, and that's really not an ability. Just being the Jinchuriki is not really something you can call an ability. So any Kekkei Genkai, any jutsu that Madara uses, Naruto can do too, but Naruto can't just make himself the Jinchuriki of the Ten Tails. So this immediately gives him a disadvantage against Madara. But as everyone starts to fight Madara starts revealing a bunch of his techniques. Like he starts using Limbo, and he starts using the lightning release, I think it was called. So he starts using all of his abilities, and Naruto uses all of his abilities back at him. And with Sasuke gaining his new Sage of Six Paths power Rinnegan, Naruto literally copies that Rinnegan. So Naruto has Naruto has Sasuke's super powerful Tomoe Rinnegan thing, but still, as they fight, Madara is too strong. Hard as they might try, Naruto and Sasuke just can't kill Madara. With the Ten Tails, Madara is just too strong for everyone. Even Naruto. Naruto ends up getting help from the Nine Tails within him, but just won't work. And it's just hopeless, as Madara is like, I'm about to complete my plan, and there's nothing you can do about it. As he levitates into the sky, rips off that piece of thing that sticks out from his head, because he became the Ten Tails Jinchuriki. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. It's not really important. As he looks up to the moon and awakens his Rinne Sharingan. And this is when Naruto realizes he has the perfect opportunity. As he copies Madara's Rinne Sharingan, and he copies Madara's truth-seeking orbs, as he sends a truth-seeking orb flying at Madara's face, and Madara gets distracted for a moment, as Naruto just completely dashes right at him and starts destroying Madara, but it's too late. Madara activates the infinite Tsukuyomi, and everyone, except for, of course, Sasuke and Naruto, because they have the Rinnegan, are put under the infinite Tsukuyomi. But this is when Zetsu comes in and stabs Madara in the back, turning him into Kaguya. And this is when the tides turn. Kaguya revealing her ability to swap dimensions, create portals, and the all-killing Ashbone thingies gives Naruto a huge advantage, because now Naruto has the powers of Madara and Kaguya. Naruto just decided not to play any of his cards, as Kaguya got very confident in herself, bringing everyone to the ultra gravity dimension. I don't know what it's called. And then she sent out the all-killing Ashbone thingies, whatever you call them. And the bones went flying, one at Sasuke, one at Naruto. And I guess one for Kakashi and Sakura too. And Obito's not with them because Obito didn't get Talk no Jutsu'd. So that happened, I guess. And so Naruto, using the new abilities that he just copied, created Kaguya's black portal things. I don't know what they're called. It's like, those portals she can create, like the black square ones that can transport anything, anywhere, basically. He makes 4 of those, one for each of the ash bone thingies that Kaguya created, and creates another portal, actually 4 portals, I guess, for that matter, right behind Kaguya. As all of the things that Kaguya sent to Naruto and his friends get returned back at Kaguya. But Kaguya, being able to react just in time, was able to turn around and somehow dodge all 4 of them. But it was too late already. Naruto had sent one of his own from behind Kaguya, and it hit her, as Kaguya started disintegrating into ash. But Naruto and Sasuke were gonna play it safe. So I'm just gonna say, Sasuke definitely got the Sage of Six Path power, but for Naruto, I'm just gonna say he somehow got it too. Maybe he copied Sasuke's, something like that. And so they use the seal on Kaguya, sealing her away. And after that, Naruto becomes the Hokage, I guess, having saved the village, and honestly being so OP that he probably just passed the Chunin Exams that time anyway, kind of like Shikamaru did. So yeah, that's all. I mean, in the movie, I might add a little extra clip with how maybe what happens when Ishiki arrives, but we already know when Ishiki comes, Naruto's gonna copy all of Ishiki's abilities and just gonna destroy Ishiki with his own abilities, plus Kaguya's abilities, plus Momoshiki's abilities, because Naruto has those now too, plus Madara's abilities. You know, Naruto is literally like if you combined every single character in the Naruto universe and just put them all into one character. Naruto is that at this point. So Naruto is completely invincible. Naruto can also copy the Karma Seal that Boruto and Kawaki have if he wants to. I don't think he would need it, but yeah, that's gonna be the end of it. So hope you liked the video, and bye. See you later.